Dean Minerva Thame, faculty, administrative support, staff, and students of the Faculty of Medical Sciences. A very pleasant good morning and welcome to all attendees at this, our second day of orientation. Today, we continue the lineup of interesting topics from speakers from very diverse areas of activities on the campus. Our incredibly active and talented guild representatives and student association presidents, followed by a lineup of experts on communication, sexual and reproductive health, UWI Student Emergency Response Team, the Student Services and Development, and the FMS Guild will make their presentations. Of course, these presentations, as you may well be aware by now, are intended to provide for our new and I believe some returning students a sneak peek into the opportunities for engagement, for integration, and for navigating campus life. The campus presents a hub of such activities, and we invite you to listen attentively as each speaker makes their presentation. But before we welcome the speakers, on a housekeeping matter regarding the vaccination against the COVID-19 virus, I reinforce the content of a letter from Dr. Jones, the chair of the orientation committee, encouraging you to visit your nearest vaccination center to be vaccinated. Arrangements have been made with the Mona Aging and Wellness Center here on campus to accommodate students today, August 31, and tomorrow, or September 1. For today, persons with the surnames A to G will be accommodated at 1 to 2:30 p.m. and those with surnames H to M at 2:30 to 4 p.m. Tomorrow, September 1, surnames N to S rather, will be accommodated at 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. and those with surnames T to Z will be accommodated 2:30 to 4 p.m. Of course, be reminded that you need some form of identification and your TRN, as well as you're advised to travel with the letter which was sent to you on the no movement day, which like today really is. Remember to be part of the solution, not a part of the problem, as so well articulated yesterday by one of your own ranks, Mr. Ethan Young of the MBBS program. Let us now welcome our first set of presenters in our guild representatives and student association presidents. They will appear, of course, in the order as listed. Welcome the first speaker, Ms. Xaria Strachan. Just to introduce Ms. Strachan. Ms. Strachan is the Faculty of Medical Sciences Guild representative. She's a final year MBBS student. She's 22 years old. She has wished to disclose. She has served on the FMS Guild Committee for the last 2 years in the capacity of Cultural and Entertainment Affairs Chairperson. She has served as the Fundraising Chairperson for the MBBS class of 2022. In high school, at the Immaculate Conception High School, she founded the Medical Education and Development Club. That's where it started, and for which she served as the premier president. She's a certified event planner and self-taught parent. She tutors CXC students in mathematics, chemistry, biology, and physics as a personal business. And she also tutors MBBS students in Jamaica and Trinidad with brain in training. And she has a special interest in oncology, specifically hematology oncology. Welcome, Ms. Strachan.
All right, good morning, everyone. Congratulations, new students, and welcome to the Faculty of Medical Sciences. As you embark on this new journey, I hope you will make the most of the experiences that come your way and embrace opportunities that present itself to foster change and self-growth. Work hard, but still try to enjoy life and the experiences of university. Never forget that you are brilliant and extraordinary. We as your Guild committee are determined to working with you to make this academic year excellent. Our doors are always open if you need advice, help, if you just need to talk and have a listening ear. And our contacts are available through Instagram, and also you'll be available through your class president. So congratulations once again. And now I'll hand over to my MBBS preclinical representative, Lisa Marie with.
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
It is such an honor and a pleasure to have this opportunity to formally greet you all on this noblest of occasions, your first year orientation experience. You have excelled, and from among all the applicants, you have been selected to pursue careers in the field of medicine. With that, I extend my heartiest of congratulations. A warm welcome, not just from those of us in attendance, but for specifically the MBBS students, a warm welcome from the year above you, 2K25. We're all excited to meet you virtually and hopefully one day soon in person. I hope that you will enjoy your first year experience and that you will find, as I did, that each challenge that you face and overcome will make you a stronger person. Again, welcome and congratulations. But before I go, I'd like to encourage all students to get involved in the many clubs and societies offered by the university, as well as the many opportunities to volunteer in society as a medical student. From the very beginning, look at yourself as being in the profession that you aspire to be in and do your best. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Dylan Thompson and I'm the Doctor of Pharmacy representative. I would like to give you guys a warm welcome and congratulations on being accepted into the Faculty of Medical Sciences. I encourage you all to embrace this new experience, and even though it is mainly virtual, to try and be as involved as you possibly can and embrace the new experiences and challenges that you will meet. I hope you all have a wonderful experience during this journey, a wonderful first year, and I wish you all the best. I'm going to hand over to Olamide, our DDS representative.
Good morning, class of 2026. My name is Omalide Adekeye, and I am in the class of 2022. I am the Jamaica Dental Association president, and on behalf of the student body, we would like to welcome you all to the program. We are happy to welcome you to not just a program, but a family of well-trained future dentists. You're amongst the best of the best, and we can't wait for you to experience what dentistry has in store for you. It is a rigorous program, but just as others have done it before you and have excelled, you will as well.
Good morning, everyone in attendance. On behalf of the School of Medical Radiation and Technology, I'd like to extend a warm welcome and a hearty congratulations to all of the students who have been accepted to read for a degree offered by the prestigious Faculty of Medical Sciences. I know some of you guys will have been bombarded with sentiments such as the work only starts here, it only gets harder from here, and possibly even been given stories of people who have collapsed under the weight of expectation. And with that being said, I just want you all to take a breath and to understand that you have to take this process in strides. It's a new situation, it's a new environment. Learning online isn't easy, but at the same time, the mindset that you have really determines a lot of the experience. So I implore you all to just be mindful of yourselves and to try to enjoy the experience as much as you possibly can. With that being said, I again welcome and congratulate you all, and I now pass over to Jeffrey Thomas.
All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Jeffery Thomas, the Basic Medical Sciences representative for this year. On behalf of the Basic Medical Sciences Department, I'd like to congratulate all of you for being accepted into the Faculty of Medical Sciences. especially our 2K24 class of basic medical science students. Now, for those of you who don't know the programs of the basic medical sciences, that would be anybody majoring in anatomy, pharmacology, and physiology. Now, as you start off in the faculty, you're surrounded by a bunch of people who are new to you. Unfortunately, you're unable to have face-to-face classes like we usually do. But at the same time, I encourage you guys to work together. Teamwork makes the dream work, unless it's in exams. We don't cheat here in MedSci, but teamwork makes the dream work. Work together, you're all a team, you're all here for the same degree, and you're all here to achieve the same thing. You can all help each other. Don't be scared to ask for help from anybody above you. Don't be scared to reach out to your lecturers, because at the end of the day, this is your degree, and you have to ensure that what you learn is what you need, and that you know everything that you need to know so that you can be successful with your program. At this time, I'm going to turn over to Samara, Dewar, the physical therapy representative.
Good morning, everyone. So as stated before, my name is Samara Dewar. I am the UE Physical Therapy Students Association President. Firstly, welcome to the Faculty of Medical Sciences, and for the physical therapy incoming first years, welcome to the program. This journey will certainly be one for growth in all aspects of your life, whether mentally, physically, spiritually, etc. I'm on the last lap, so I can tell you, it's a great feeling. And throughout these years, I've met some amazing people and made some wonderful memories. Physical therapy, it's more than just a profession. It's passion, hard work. It's an extraordinary opportunity. I'm glad you decided to embark on this journey. Just take the ride with an open mind and take notes along the way. It won't be a walk in the park, but it will be a walk to remember. Keep your eyes on the prize and work towards becoming a remarkable physical therapist. Trust yourself. You applied for this program for a reason. You got accepted for a reason. So you are here for a reason. Never doubt it. Lastly, congrats. And here's a bit of advice. No man is an island. Work together, help each other, grow together. Most importantly, ask for help if you need it. The PT department, UE PTSA, and fellow PT students are here for you. Let me all leave you with a quote. So, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But by all means, keep moving. And that was by Martin Luther King Jr. You will appreciate this quote when you start school, and especially for the PT students when you hit second year, Trust me. So thank you all for your time, and all the best to the PT graduating class of 2024. Have a superb day, everyone. And I hand over to Miss Alicia Grant.
Good morning, everyone. I am Alicia Grant, the student nurse representative, and I just want to say congratulations to you all for being accepted into nursing. Nursing is an exciting field. It's very exciting. You'll go out there, you see many conditions and many things, and you'll be excited about it. I just really want to congratulate you. We have a WhatsApp group that we've been talking. I've been encouraging you all through it. And I just want to keep encouraging you, keep striving, go for what you want. You may get some, may feel down, you may have obstacles in your way, but listen, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. I remember starting in year 1 and it was really rough for me, and I'm in year 4 now and I'm going through. If I can do it, you can do it. Congratulations. And on behalf of the nursing department, I just want to say, keep going, keep striving, you can make it. And I'm really happy to have you all here. Congratulations. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to thank you, speakers. I think that you have laid it out in the most articulate way you can, what life is about on the campus. It presents a holistic kind of experience for students. It's not just all about the hard work, but there is also fun to be had, as also some opportunities for interaction, for making a difference in society. It's an entire social interaction, interactive environment. And so your speakers here have invited you to be part of that type of social interaction. Someone is asking me to know to inform you that the vaccination blitz has been moved to the old library. So it's not going to be held at the Mona Aging and Wellness Center, but rather at the old library, which is quite close, just about a half-a-minute walk from the Aging and Wellness Center to the old library. LaShawn has a short PowerPoint. That was a 5-minute PowerPoint, which you would like to interject at this point. So LaShawn, could you please go ahead? Ms. Redwood?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is LaShawn Redwood, and I am the Vice President of the Faculty of Medical Sciences. Today, I'm here to present the events for the Faculty of Medical Sciences for the academic year. So who am I? My name is LaShawn Redwood. My VP is fmsvp.uemona@gmail.com. I'm a soon-to-be graduate of the Basic Medical Sciences group with anatomy major with honors. And I'm a first-year student, yes. I'm a fresher like most of you guys, again, in the MBBS program. So the roles and responsibilities of my position is to oversee the finance committee and events being held by fundraising, public relations committee, the publications committee, the cultural entertainment affairs committee, and the external affairs committee. And I assist the sponsorship manager when necessary to ensure the largest amount of sponsors are gained for events. So the drives that we've done so far, and we thank everyone for their contribution to the equipment drive. What's still going on is the devices drive and the book drive. So we ask that you all pay attention to our Instagram or Twitter pages at UWISERT to find out which devices you can donate. And if you yourself needs some devices and book drives, feel free to shout out to us. And upcoming events for semester 1 for September, as of this Friday, we'll be conducting our Dewar PPE drive. As you know, we are in a pandemic and we have students from 3rd to 5th year going onwards. So we're conducting a PPE drive to get some PPE for them. So when they go on the wards, they remain safe in this pandemic. The PR, which is the public relations group, will be having an IGTV live series, which will be done the first Friday of each month. So also remember to follow us at UWISERT. On Monday, September 6th, public relations will have a day in the life of MedSci series on Instagram. This will be used to showcase persons who have done programs or in programs in medical sciences, how they cope with the daily life of medical sciences. And on Friday, September 17th, the Games Committee will be having a nutrition workshop, also on social media. September 20 to September 25 will be Pharmacy Week. September 26 will be the External Affairs Blood Drive. Registration form has been sent in groups, so look out for the registration form. And the 4th week of this month will be the launch of our Aiden experience by our Cultural Entertainment Affairs Chairperson. On October 3 to 8 will be Physiotherapy Week. Monday, October 18, Tuesday, October 19 will be the EAC High School Outreach. Most likely this will be virtual considering the circumstances of COVID-19. October 24 to 30 will be our Faculty Week. So look out on Instagram for fun events virtually. For November 6th, we have the Physiotherapy Students Association and the Games Committee collaborating to have a dance fitness session. November 7 to 12 will be Radiography Week. November 11th to 12 will be the Publications Committee Workshop Series. November 21 to 26 will be Nursing Week. November 22 will be the EAC High School Outreach. And hopefully we can get it to be face-to-face. We're not sure, and we have to limit the number of persons who go to this outreach. In December, considering exams, the only event planned is the Nursing Christmas Jamboree, which should be December 17. Semester 2 has less events, unfortunately, but we still press on. On January 17, the EAC High School Outreach will be done, virtually most likely. January 21, Games Committee would have a nutrition workshop. January 22, PCC will have a paint and sip. January 28, the CAC will have a first year experience, so that will incorporate you first year students. On January 30 to February 5 will be Basic Medical Sciences Week. In February, we hope to have another EAC High School Outreach on the 21st, and February 26th will be our flagship event, which is the Mr. and Miss MedSci. Has a new flavor this year. It's usually just Miss Medical Sciences, but this year will be both Mr. and Miss in one pageant. So look out for registration forms and don't be afraid to showcase your talent. In March, PC will have Unleash Your Creativity all month long. March 19, EAC will have a joint outreach. March 27 to April 2 will be MBBS week. March 31st will be the EAC blood drive. In April, on April 16 will be the FMS Gospel Concert, which promises to be another amazing event. And in May, hopefully, we can have a carnival wind down, hopefully considering the pandemic. So remember to follow us on Instagram at UWISERT for updates. As Xaria said earlier, our inboxes are open and there's a contact directory which we sent around by your class presidents to your various groups. Remember to press on, and congratulations on getting into the faculty.
Thank you, Ms. Redwood, for that comprehensive lowdown on what the student body intends to embark on for this semester. It appears that the pandemic has not daunted the efforts of our students to engage and interact with the internal and external community. I'd like to congratulate you on your sterling efforts in keeping the campus going and making certain that our students are totally engaged as they journey through their various programs. At this point in time, we are going to invite our guest speaker, Kavanaugh, to speak. Just a brief introduction. Mr. Kavanaugh is a communications practitioner who specializes in strategy and content creation. He has a vested interest in creating meaning through design and content. The common thread in the majority of Jean-Pierre's work is that it has real impact on people's life outcomes. His work spans climate change, HIV and sexual health, disaster risk response, community development, and human rights. His work has consistently raised awareness of and increased visibility for his clients while creating space to collaborate with other creative professionals. Over the course of his career, Jean-Pierre has dedicated himself to honing his craft and applying his ingenuity to lead various communication projects in both Jamaica and the wider Caribbean. When he's not working on projects, he can be found in the gym, at the seaside, or in the kitchen cooking up some comfort food. With a number of diverse interests, he was recently awarded the Nova Power Speakers Toastmasters Club Rookie of the Year, a recipient of the 2015 Governor General's Achievement Award, and a highly regarded communication practitioner amongst his peers. Jean-Pierre continues to be a young visionary and creative who is making a name for himself in the dynamic world of communication. Let us welcome Jean-Pierre Kavanaugh.
Thank you so much for your introduction. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jean-Pierre Kavanagh. As said in my introduction, I'm a communications practitioner. And today I'll be presenting on using social media responsibly. So can I see a show of hands in the chat of those people who use social media? You can also comment your favorite social media site. So looking in the chat, just tell me what social media apps you like to use. And give me a thumbs up if you use social media. You can also put a thumbs down if you don't use social media. Today, I'll cover the answers to 3 questions, and then I'll leave you with some tips. Question 1 is, why do I need to think about using social media? Question 2 is, what does it mean to use social media responsibly? And who am I using it for? And question 3 is, how do I go about it? So I'm seeing people saying Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Well, I've seen a lot of Instagrams. All right, so as I said, at the end of the presentation, medical students in training will have an understanding of the following. Why you specifically need to consider how you use social media, what it means to use social media responsibly, as both an individual and a professional in training, and tips for responsible social media use. So now we have some discussion questions. You can answer these in the chat as well. Should medical students need to consider how they use social media? Why or why not? I'll just leave this on the screen for a second. So should medical students need to consider how they use social media? Why or why not? Question 1, why do I need to think about this? And honestly, you don't necessarily need to. You can continue using social media the way that you are now. And I'm sure that some of the tips I'll be telling you, you already know. But let's discuss 2 main reasons why you might want to be mindful about your social media use. Number 1, you're using social media as an individual. And that means that you're one person sharing space with other people and understanding that what you post and how you post can affect other people, just like how what other people post can affect you. It means also understanding that the type of content that you consume can impact you. So it can make you happy, it can make you sad, it can stress you out, it can teach you. Another reason why you might need to be mindful about your social media use is that you may choose to represent yourself as a medical professional in training. And you may also, when you're finally out of school, choose to represent yourself as a professional. Now, if you represent yourself in that professional space online, there are some things you'll need to consider. 1, how you're representing yourself. 2, how you're representing your specialization. 3, how you're representing your employer. And employers tend to have guidelines about how you use social media. 4, if you've signed any agreements, and that may be as a student, no, or as a professional to guide your conduct online. And 5, the fact that as a medical professional, people look to you as a trusted source. So if someone is looking for advice online and they see something that you post, they may take this as gospel. Therefore, as a student medical professional, you can't just choose to use social media personally. And you may not look at the professional dimension just yet. Also, there's an alternative. You can choose not to use social media, but I'm sure that most of us won't like that alternative. So the question now is for you, how will you choose to represent yourself on social media? Will you choose to represent yourself individually? Will you choose to represent yourself as a student medical professional? Or will you choose to do both? And again, you can answer that in the chat. What direction are you planning to take your social media presence? The second question is, what does it mean to use social media responsibly? Now, anyone who uses social media, especially Twitter, can tell you that social media can be a very negative space. People pick fights, people cause contention, people argue with strangers, and I've seen a lot of people arguing with strangers in ways that they probably would never argue with strangers in real life. They also argue with people they know. So I think the first thing that anyone as an individual using social media should be mindful of is we're not trying to cause harm to anybody else. And when I say try not to cause harm, I don't mean that you should avoid arguments or that you should avoid discussions. But what you try to do in these cases is to be respectful. So there's something that you need to ask yourself. Can this discussion happen without me or the other person feeling like they need to get personal, or that they need to get rude, or that they need to fight, or they need to fight me virtually? And if the discussion is going in that direction, can I disengage and tell them that I'm not going to go in this path with you? So now, with that in mind, let's talk about what responsible social media use may look like. It includes securing your accounts. So before you even log into the app, you need to set a strong password and enable the setting called two-factor authentication. And what two-factor authentication does is it sends a text to your phone with a code. So even though someone may be able to figure out or hack your password, they don't have your phone. So they can't get that code to log into your account. And it's especially important if you're going to represent yourself as a student medical professional, because people can hack your account, tweet things through your account, and people think it's you and take those things as facts. If you're going the professional route, you need to choose a profile picture and a bio that accurately represent you and the spaces that you're trying to engage with. You need to also know the topics that you'll choose to engage with and knowing at what point you leave the discussion alone. And being mindful of the effects of social media on your productivity and your mental health. Now, I fall into the trap of thinking, okay, I can just not be mindful about my social media use. And then before you know it, you lose an entire day online because there's so much engaging discussions going on, so much interesting content to watch, and it takes a big toll on your productivity. Or if you're a very empathetic person, then you'll realize that your social media use may drain you because you find yourself holding space for the people online or the people that you meet online, and you end up feeling very drained or tired whenever you use social media. And be aware that you can mute and unfollow people. Sometimes it's not everyone that you meet online will be someone whose content you want to see. Or there may be some topics that you get tired of. I know some people have muted everything related to COVID because it's something that they find stressful. So we have another set of discussion questions now. What are some of the things you like about using social media? What are some of the things that you don't like? And how do you deal with conflict online? Or, have you ever been in conflict online? But if not, theoretically, how would you deal with conflict online? So what are some of the things you like about using social media? What are some of the things you don't like? And how do you deal with conflict online? So the final question, what does responsible social media use look like? I would have touched on some of these in point number 2, or in answering question number 2. But let's get specific. Outside of ensuring that your account is secure and representing yourself well, choosing who and what to engage with, being mindful of the effects that social media may have on you and your mental health, here are some things that can help you use social media more responsibly. Be mindful that whatever you post can be scrutinized, especially if you choose to represent yourself as an individual, as a practitioner in training. If you're posting medical information, make sure that it's factual, because people will look to you as a trusted source and they will act on the things that you say. And even when your information is factual, also be mindful that some people will have done some rudimentary research or heard something in a group chat and take you on about the things that you have posted. If you're going to post anyone's image, make sure you get permission before you post it. And that's extra important if it's an image of a patient. And understand that you may make the news, especially if you become known as someone in the medical field. Reporters nowadays tend to take up tweets, take up information they find on social media and use it to make the news. So be mindful that that may just happen to you. And think about how you're posting, what you're posting, because sometimes people can take what you post and use it to fit an agenda. So be mindful not just of what you say, but how you say it. On a brighter note, social media can help you to meet new people. It can help you to find new interests, and it can help you to expand your network. Especially as a few of you said that you're planning to use social media both as a professional and as an individual. You may find that you meet people from other schools, you may find that you meet other practitioners, you may find that you meet people who are already working in the field who can help you to advance your career, who can help you to learn more, who can help you to navigate university even before you become a full-fledged professional. It's a great place to learn and share knowledge. And honestly, it can be incredibly entertaining. I mean, some of the best jokes I've ever seen, some of the greatest laughs I've ever had are things that I've seen on social media. And I'm sure that many of you can relate. Now, we have some discussion questions, but before, let me just end on this note. So be mindful of the fact that nothing online is truly private. If you've posted it, even if your account is private, people can screenshot it and share. And be mindful that sometimes things that you feel are or will provide you some degree of secrecy and privacy can also be circumvented. So I'm sure many of you remember the silhouette challenge. And some people would have posted saying that people can't see who I am. But then it came out a couple of weeks after that there were ways to reverse the filter. So it's very, very important to be mindful that not everyone who uses social media means everyone who uses the space well. Be mindful of who you share your location, your personal details, and your passwords. Also, think about the language that you choose to use and the associations that you form. Unfortunately, quite a few employers do look at your social media presence to determine whether or not they'll hire you. For many of them, it won't matter, but you don't want to take the chance that that dream job that you want, you lose it just because of something that you said online, even if it was years ago, because, there's a thing that people tend to use nowadays. You'll say something now, and then they'll go dig up something you said in the opposite and then ask, this you? Not understanding that people can change their opportunity, their mindset and things. All right, now for the discussion questions. Now, which of these tips do you already use? Which will you use now? And is there anything else you'd like to use? Is there anything else that you think student medical professionals should be mindful of? Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for your time. I'll be with you guys in the chat.
Thank you, Mr. Kavanagh, for that very interesting and informative presentation, speaking to how we use social media, the positives and the negatives of using social media, the safety concerns also. And I was most impressed by the fact that you mentioned that as healthcare professionals, we are a source of trusted information. And whatever information we put out there, the public in general takes it as gospel. So we have to be very careful about what we actually put out there. You also spoke to the need to balance your social media activity and your schoolwork as well. We take note that there are some do's and don'ts of social media, and also the digital trail that we leave when we actually use the social media platform. I'm sure that our students have taken note also and are now on their way to ensuring that they use social media with some measure of responsibility. We move now to Miss Yolanda Paul, our next speaker. She's a project manager of UWI HIV/AIDS response program, and she will speak with you on sexual harassment and you. Just to introduce Ms. Paul, Yolanda has been working with the HIV and sexual and reproductive health fields since 2009. Her background is in behavior change communication, and through her previous department, UWI HIV and AIDS response program, she has and continues to work with a wide range of stakeholders, including youth and adolescents. She's now the manager of the UWI Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Unit at the Mona campus. The unit has been instituted to implement the UWI's Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion policy and to ensure that the UWI Mona campus is a welcoming and enabling environment for all. We welcome Ms. Yolanda Paul. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Carol. Good morning, everyone. I hope we're all doing well. I'm going to do a very quick check-in while I share my screen because we have limited time to talk about a very important topic. So how are we feeling so far? This is what, your second day? How are you feeling? How is it going? Is the information resonating with you? I know that as new students, it's really a lot to take in. Is everyone seeing my screen? Can you see my screen? Yes?
We are, Yolanda. We are
okay.
seeing this.
Fantastic. So good morning again, guys. Let me take the opportunity to welcome you to the University of the West Indies. My name is Yolanda, as Carol has shared with you, and I am here to talk to you just very, very briefly because we can go on and on about sexual harassment, but very, very briefly, just give you a little bit of intro and some tips to dealing with sexual harassment. Now, as you come onto the campus, I always like to tell my students when I do this presentation that I'm not just doing this presentation so it is limited to your movements of the campus. This is a presentation to help you in your everyday lives because sexual harassment is not limited to an environment. One environment, it's not limited to one individual or one type of individual. It happens all the time to everyone, and sometimes we don't even know it's happening. So let's talk about sexual harassment. By definition, it is an unwelcomed behavior of a sexual nature. And I know that in previous presentations, some students have shared with me that it happens all the time and they don't realize that it is actually considered sexual harassment. Because you may go out and some persons may speak to you in a way that you actually are not comfortable with, but you don't actually say that you're uncomfortable with it. So when we talk about unwelcome, we're talking about things that make us uncomfortable, things that don't resonate well with us, things that we don't like, and therefore we don't want in our space. So sexual harassment can take many forms: verbal, visual, written, and physical conduct. Now I know that we're very, very limited in this time period. So I'm going to go through each one quickly, but I would like to place emphasis, especially on the verbal and the written. Now, Jean-Pierre did a very excellent presentation on social media. That was really very good. And it will help you better understand how we manage sexual harassment in that space as well. So verbal, what is it? It's things that we say out loud. We either say it directly or we say it indirectly to someone. And it would be statements that are inappropriate. So some examples of verbal sexual harassment may be sexual comments about a person's body. Oh, she look goody, she look sexy. Or we do things like they elevate, calling the honey and the baby and the sweetie. Now, I'm Trinidadian. And I know that sometimes by culture, we would say, oh yes, darling, no problem. Guys, it may actually be misinterpreted because some people do not like to be addressed as darling or sweetheart, unless it is somebody that you know very well or somebody that is in your space. You may be walking on the street and somebody may be catcalling you and making kissing sounds. Or you may be talking to somebody about a class project and they suddenly turn the class project into something very sexual. Those are examples of very verbal forms of sexual harassment. Also inappropriate comments and compliments. I find that to be one of the very common things, especially among our students. So let's go quickly to visual, what it is. We define visual literally as an assault to a person's sight. I always find this definition somewhat hilarious, but it is really an accurate description of the visual form of sexual harassment. So some of the examples of the visual form of sexual harassment will be elevator eyes. Have you ever gone to a party, or you go maybe to the supermarket, or you're in a space and you see a sexy fella on the side and you just standing up waiting to cash, and you're literally watching the guy from head to toe, and your body language and the facial expression might say, oh boy, he's sexy though, he's handsome. You can tell those things from your facial expressions, from your body language. And you may be watching that person from head to toe. That's what we call elevator eyes. And also I tell my communication students all the time, your facial expressions will sell you out. It will tell other people what you're thinking before you even verbalize it. So we need to be very careful about our body language and our visual and our facial expressions, especially for those of us who are going to be interfacing at one point as healthcare professionals with clients. We have to be very careful how we present ourselves. Sometimes making sexual gestures with your hands or pointing at somebody may actually be considered as a visual sexual harassment. All right, so physical. We're in a physical space. At one point as health practitioners, you are going to be face-to-face with each other. You are going to be in labs, you're going to be in clinics, you're going to be on ward, you're going to be in various spaces together. And there may be times when someone may touch you in a way that you do not appreciate. And you want to be able to articulate that to them. So examples of physical sexual harassment would be unwelcome touching or grabbing. Sometimes people gently massage your shoulder and you may not appreciate that. That's actually an invasion of space and can be considered sexual harassment. You may be sitting together and you're always brushing up against someone. You need to respect people's space. You may be paying excessive attention to someone's physical appearance. So you may be having a group study and everybody's coming together face to face. And this gentleman or this young lady probably has on a top and a tight fitted jeans, and you are making excessive comments about the person's physical appearance, maybe about how sexy she looks or how good those jeans look on her. Those things, even though sometimes within our culture, and not just Jamaican culture, but Caribbean culture, we tend to think that this is okay. It actually isn't. Those are serious types of sexual harassment, and you are preparing to go out into the world of work. And in the world of work, we take those things very seriously. We have to be very cognizant of what we do, what we say, how we appear. Forgive me. So before I move on to the social media space, I want to say two things. I know that I'm barreling very quickly. I have learned during my time of really talking about sexual harassment that there are two things we need to consider. If someone ever does something to you or says something to you or looks at you in a particular way that makes you feel uncomfortable, it is very important to communicate that. It is very important to say, and Jean-Pierre, I'm going to use you as my example, sorry. It's very important to say, Jean-Pierre, I didn't like how you spoke to me the other day, or I didn't like how you were up against me while we were sitting at the dinner table. It didn't make me feel comfortable. And the second thing is I've noticed with sexual harassment that there are some persons who actually are the ones sexually harassing others, but don't even realize that they're doing it. And so you want to be able to communicate so that people are unintentionally doing it. And when you draw it to their attention, it's very easy to resolve and makes people more aware of how they interact. And sometimes within your space as students, as you figure out your space on the campus, as you figure out working with your colleagues to go out into the wider world, you need to start practicing things like proper communication. So now Jean-Pierre spoke a lot about social media, and he asked you some very critical questions about your role in social media. Now, I know that we are in an online space until we are face-to-face, and sexual harassment happens in a social media space. It happens every single day, and it happens in the most degrading ways possible. Now, some examples of that. So for example, you may be in an online call for a class in your MBBS, for example, and somebody may see your name or may see your picture on the Zoom. They may take your name and go look you up on Facebook, or go look you up on Instagram, or go look you up on TikTok or Twitter or wherever you are, and literally go through your entire profile to see who you are, what you're doing. And they may look at some pictures. You may be in a bikini, or you may be in a swim trunks, and they may look at those pictures and put some very inappropriate comments underneath there. Guys, we need to be very careful what we say and how we say it and to whom we say it, because sexual harassment comes in many different forms and in many different ways. And you cannot be sliding into somebody's DMs with inappropriate messages, inappropriate comments, sexually alluding comments. You guys are going to be in WhatsApp groups. You cannot be forwarding inappropriate messages. And it is very important. Jean-Pierre made this comment. We are professionals in our health practitioner field. Even though you're a student, you are being trained to be a professional, and the training starts from now. And our social media space has to be a space that you curate carefully and do not accept inappropriate messages and inappropriate comments. And it is okay for you to message a person and say to the person, I didn't appreciate this comment, please remove it, or you can remove it yourself. Now, a lot of us are going to be in WhatsApp groups. We need to be very careful of private messages we have in our WhatsApp groups. If you are speaking to a resident, or you're speaking to a fellow doctor, or you're speaking to a student, or you're speaking to a colleague, you need to be very careful what you say and how you say it in that space. Again, verbal communication, verbal sexual harassment can pop up in those spaces. I hope I'm making this very clear. I'm hoping that you will pop a few questions so that we can answer them. So very, very quickly, how do we cope with sexual harassment? Trust your instincts. If somebody says something or does something or looks at you in a particular way and you are uncomfortable with it, do not second guess yourself. If you're uncomfortable with it, communicate. Say that you're uncomfortable. Let the individual know that you're uncomfortable. So you're articulating your feelings in a way that is not accusatory, but in a way that allows a person to understand what he or she did or didn't do that made you feel uncomfortable. Now, there are people who really and honestly, they engage in sexual harassment. They are unable to see that they're sexually harassing, and they do it all the time. If you are perpetually being harassed by someone, I'm asking you, it is very important to document things, guys. So just document and say on September 8th, 2021, this was a WhatsApp message that was sent to me. I responded and said I felt uncomfortable, and this was the message. Because you want to be able to take that, and you want to be able to go to people you trust, for example, your dean or your lecturers, to be able to share with them these instances of sexual harassment that you do not know how to manage. Writing things down is important. Now, for those of you, well, we are all new, and you would I don't know if you've heard from Dr. Debbie Ann Chambers as yet. I know she's on a program for you. Dr. Debbie Ann Chambers works at the UWI Health Center, and she is your sexual harassment advisor. And she is the individual with whom you can speak if you are unsure about issues around sexual harassment, sexual assault, if you need somebody to guide you, if you need a mentor to be able to work through a particular situation that you may be interfacing with. So she is there to help you. And of course, you are, during your tenure, going to find trusted persons within FMS with whom you can speak, with whom you can have open conversations with. So deans or lecturers or tutors or persons in the year groups above you. And you want to be able to discuss and get help with managing sexual harassment cases. So these are some of the coping mechanisms that I will say to you. I will also say, guys, if you are being sexually harassed, do not let it sit there and rest. If this person is really making you feel uncomfortable and it's perpetual and ongoing, find a way to deal with it. It is your right to be able to have this addressed, and there are different ways to do it. Talking to people you trust, going to Dr. Chambers, even emailing me, because in my capacity, we still deal with issues around sexual harassment, sexual assault, sexual and reproductive health and rights. And this is a statement that I had maybe from 2 years ago from Dr. Sykes, who I appreciate her very much. She says, I always tell my students, once you start feeling uncomfortable, you know something is wrong. Of course, she said it in the patois, but I wrote it somewhat in the English. But she is correct. The moment you start feeling uncomfortable, you speak up and you say, we are all here to help you. All right. So that's me in a nutshell on sexual harassment. Thank you for having me. If you guys have any quick questions, I can answer them now. If not, please feel free to email me. I love to hear from all students. And at one point, I will come back to you to really talk about this topic of equity, diversity, and inclusion. Thank you very much, Carol.
Thank you, Ms. Paul. This was a most timely presentation on sexual harassment, and it has come at a point in time when sexual harassment is such a topical issue in our environment, and especially in terms of legislation, which has really been part of the landscape in recent times. Students have heard of the verbal and physical and visual and the social media online space, which sometimes can be used as means of sexual harassment. Those verbal and nonverbal cues, which we sometimes take as innocent gestures because of our culture, yes? But at the same time, they can be interpreted in different ways and can also cause others to be uncomfortable. And you did mention another important thing, the fact that we work as healthcare professionals, yes? In that interaction also with patients, we need to be very careful about our interactions with patients, because sometimes these cues, verbal and non-verbal, sometimes not intentional, but nonetheless can be interpreted as sexual harassment. So very importantly, we thank you so much for this presentation, and we hope that our students will take advantage of the resources we have available on the campus for addressing these issues as they arise. And I see a little one there. Hello. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you very much. Take care, students. And of course, always feel free to email me. All right. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Our next speaker comes to us from the university Student Emergency Response Team. I'm speaking to who they are, and your speaker will be Aiden Rajkumar, Director of Training, the Emergency Medical Service, and the speaker is an MBBS Year 4 student. We welcome Aiden to the podium.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So congratulations. First, I'd like to start off by saying congratulations to all the students who have gotten into the Faculty of Medical Sciences. That's a job well done to all members. So today I'm going to briefly give a short presentation on what UWISERT is. UWISERT is University of the West Indies Student Emergency Response Team. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to get the presentation started. Okay, so always, so UWISERT, as it's known as to most of the campus, is the University of the West Indies Student Emergency Response Team. We're a non-profit, volunteer, student-run and student-managed professional emergency medical service and public health organization. We provide basic medical care to the University of the West Indies Mona campus and the surrounding community. So a little history about UWISERT. We were founded on Rex Nuttleford's Hall in 2004 by two medical students, Mr. Arlington Lightbourne and Trevor Bygrave. and Dr. J.P. Toppin, Dr. P. Toppin. All are now currently doctors who practice at the University Hospital as well. Our headquarters is at Rex Nuttlefords Hall. We have what's known as the FAU, or the First Aid Unit, which serves as our office. It's also where our on-call department is, where we do on-call services from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. every day. And every weekends, we do 24 hours on-call. What is our ultimate goal? Our ultimate goal here is really to support the development of emergency medical service throughout the region and to increase the capacity, especially during our time of COVID, where we have so much of fatigue amongst healthcare workers. Our job is really to provide you as the students with the skills necessary to be the difference between a life saved and a life lost in this time, in this pandemic time. As we are sure we're most aware, the hospitals only seeing emergency cases, and it really does depend on having people who are trained to be able to handle very basic emergencies so that it doesn't overwhelm the healthcare system. So that's in essence what we try to do at UWISERT. We try to train members in giving them the basic techniques to learn how to do life-saving interventions. So we are a CARICOM organization and a UWI organization. Our membership is very vast, consisting of Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Bahamians, Bajans, and Guyanese, Venetians and St. Lucians, Antiguans as well. And even from the UK as well, so a very diverse group of individuals who come together. And we really seek to recruit very high caliber students of any faculty or program to be exemplary leaders and be socially aware and civic driven. So what does that mean? For us at UWISERT, we try to strive for excellence in everything that we do. As students, no matter what faculty you're from, what program you're doing, you always believe you can strive to do excellence in everything that you do. And as students especially, we want to empower you to take that step into your career, your future career of becoming doctors, nurses, radiation therapists. We want to take you to that step of being confident enough to have certain skills to say, yes, I can begin to operate as though I am in the field and I'm going to do it eventually. It's very important for us at UWISERT. So what do we do? In essence, we have 4 main arms: public health and outreach, emergency medical services, training, and public relations. Each arm has its own individual director, and I'm going to go through the structure with you, sir, how it runs for us. So we have a board of trustees, then there's a program director, we have deputy program director and a secretary. And then if you can see, we have various arms. Each arm has its own director, deputy, secretary, EMT and EMR. We have EMS training, public outreach, public relations, and we have auxiliary staff as well, where we have registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, and some other auxiliary staffing that assist us in carrying out the organization's full comprehensive duty. So why UWISERT? UWISERT is very family oriented. It strives to producing the best regardless of who you are. It's a recent shift in the way we did things at UWISERT. Now we want to make sure that when people come into UWISERT, that they feel as they're a part of a family, and it gives you that belonging, because everybody has to find a niche in campus. There are various organizations, various things that you can do, but we want to make sure when people join at UWISERT that you feel as though you're a part of a family. That will support you in everything that you do, and you're going to be able to be doing what you want to do in terms of helping and being that person to teach and help save lives. So our family is here to support your growth and teach you life-saving skills. It's not for the weak or faint of heart. The family requires members who are team and family oriented and who are going to put service above self and have a passion for caring for people. Especially in the field that you're going into and this faculty, the art of taking care of the art of caregiving is very, very important, and we want to ensure that our members are able to have good bedside manner and they're able to understand that even though you're providing a service to them, there's a way in which you go about doing it and you strive for excellence in doing that. So we're going to talk about the emergency medical services because this is where most med students are very eager to join. So the Emergency Medical Service Committee, I am the director of the EMS service, which has an ambulance attached to it. It's usually most popular. It's the part of the arm of the organization that deals primarily with training members of UE students to become EMRs, which is an emergency medical responder or emergency medical technicians. Our job is to give you certain skills to ensure that you can go out into the field and you can stabilize somebody using the basic resources that you have around you to actually help save this person's life or to stabilize them until they can be transferred to more definitive care at a hospital. So our responders are usually very highly trained. It's a very vigorous program. It's a 2-week program that's very vigorous in the way we train you, because at the end of this program, you're supposed to be able to deal with people or deal with injured individuals in a way that is safe to them and safe to you as well. And with respect to the pandemic as well, we want to ensure that we have proper understanding of body substance isolation, using PPEs, and really getting into the gist of how do we care for people who are potentially sick and may possibly have COVID as well. That's our new avenue of training that we're giving to our members. We want them to understand that it's not just a matter of we're gonna do what we feel to do and just go and see people. No, there are steps that must be taken in order for us to properly and efficiently treat the people in the public or who we're going to be interacting with. So we, as I said earlier, we are available from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. on weekdays and for the entire weekend during the school year. Our responders attend most of the events on UE, sporting events mainly, and we treat injuries and that arise during these events. We train you in such a way that you are trained under a medical director. We have medical directors who give us their license to operate under. So when we're going to be doing different procedures or trying to give out medications, we have to make sure that we call and get verification that we can do what we want to do in terms of managing our patients until they get to more definitive care. Very highly trained, our members, and if you do choose to join, you will be a very highly trained member, very skilled, and it's a skill set that is very, very in demand at this current time, for COVID especially. A lot of our members actually work with the Ministry of Health in terms of vaccination Blitz. They go out and assist them. They work various private events with different private ambulance companies. Because of the training that they're being given here, they're able to make a career out of it as they move forward. So that's really encompasses what the AMS service is about. And that's what I'm really here to talk to you all about in essence, is joining the organization, because we need members who are going to be committed, who are self-driven, and who have a yearning to learn and have a yearning to care for people, which is a very important trait in these particular fields, in the medical field, the nursing field, in every field. It's very important. All right, so the applications, if you choose to become a member, like to become a member, the application, you just visit the website at uwisert.org/membership form. The link will be uploaded by tomorrow, so you can send any information to the applications form, and we'll begin to call persons to come in. It will stay open until January, because we like to do different batches. We train batches every 2-3 months. We train a different batch of people. So if you would like to join, send us an email, or you can shout us at our website as well for the application form. Our email is at uwisertmona@gmail.com. And if you have any questions at all, please forward it to us as well. We can answer it for you. I think that is the end of my presentation. If you have any questions as well, feel free to shoot us a message, or I can answer them now if there are any.
Mr. Rajkumar, I'd like to thank you so much for that most enlightening presentation. We have heard from your presentation of the history and the functions of the UWISERT. I note specifically that the founders were students who identified a gap in the provision of service, yes, and providing skills necessary for life-saving, yes?
Yes.
And this is what we really want of our students, to be the innovators, the creators, the leaders in inventions that really add value to their training. Yes, these two students, no doubt, looked around and saw where there was this gap and decided to do something about it, not just to complain, but to do something about it. And this is what we want to see at this point in time in our students. We are very happy that you have brought to the students the criteria that they need to meet for becoming members of this club, and the invitation to them also to become members of this most important life skills training and saving program. I thank you again for your presentation.
No problem. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Our next speaker is Miss Keresha Larmond, and she will speak from her office in terms of the Commuting Students Office. She's a Student Services and Development Manager. Ms. Larmond has a Master of Arts in Higher Education. She is a student, she's in the Student Person Administration from the University of the West Indies, where her research area focused on enhancing effective leadership competencies through program delivery. Ms. Larmond is a Student Services and Development Manager with responsibility for commuting students at the University of the West Indies, MONA, since 2015, where she supports and engages commuting students. She is not only an avid student affairs professional, but also a trained secondary educator. And prior to joining the University of the West Indies family, she taught business education at the secondary level. Ms. Larmond, welcome.
Thank you so much, Carol. And good morning to my FMS family. I would just like to start out by saying congratulations and welcome to the UWI Mona family. I can imagine for most of you, this is a significant milestone, and for others, a clear path to achieving a desired goal. So, you know, there might be some doubts in your mind, but I say to you, there's no doubt. You have made the right decision to join or continue your journey here and entrust us to help you to achieve a desired goal, right? So one of those desired career goals that you have. You will find, you know, while you are here at UWI, that the Commuting Students Office will be a staple in your out of classroom development. And we call those co-curricular development. And it will also be a strong support for you as you journey through UWI. So, you know, our mantra in the Commuting Students Office is to keep you informed, connected, and engaged at UWI. So what I normally laugh and say is that we keep our commuting students on ice, right? So today I am here to give you a little insight into the offerings of the Commuting Students Office and the benefits to you. So, you know, you might be in your YouTube land saying, but I'm not a commuting student, I'm an online student. But never mind, guys. We have all transformed into virtual everything these days. So we're virtual students, we're virtual admins, virtual lecturers. We're here virtually today. So never mind, once you are in the virtual space, you are still all mine. And I welcome you wholeheartedly. So within the Commuting Students Office, let me just tell you a little bit about the office. So we have a team of commuting student advisors who are graduate students, and those are the persons you will be engaging with throughout the different programs and initiatives offered through the office. You know, since we've been in the virtual community, we try to foster and engender an engaging and supportive community that really thrive on success. And you might be thinking, you know, how do we do this, especially in the online space? So first, what we do is we introduce all our students to a suite of programs that cater to their development. And we look at all facets of development. So I'm going to share 4 with you. So we look at the intellectual competency development, and we have a specific program that's called GPS. It's growth and purpose sessions that we have with you, our students, right? Then we help with establishment and maintenance of interpersonal relationships. And so in the virtual space, we have virtual mingles and so forth. And if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, I'm going to tell you to look for our virtual mingle that we did for Valentine's. And that was one that, you know, it's to speak up. So go and look at it and, you know, just expect more like that. We help you to explore your identity and diversity development, and we have targeted sessions. And Yolanda Paul would have spoken to some of those sessions. We did a lot of partnership with Yolanda while we were face-to-face, and we'll be doing more partnerships as the time progresses that we're online. I also am going to introduce you to one of our key programs that directly relates to you, and that's our Change Makers Club. And I will speak more about that shortly. We also look at the maintenance of personal health and wellness, and that's through our wellness activities. So we do all of this. We help you with all of this, but we also help to equip you with the necessary tools to survive at UWI. So we do, for example, self-management sessions, and I'm going to ask you to look out for self-management sessions, which will be coming up in early in September, right? So it helps you to really balance your co-curricular and academic life. And, you know, through all these presentations, you will realize that succeeding at UWI will not be defined only by your academic pursuits, but rather a collective progress of both academic and co-curricular balance is what I call it, right? And I just want to say to you that the CSO is just that community that you will want to align yourself with, right? And you might be thinking, okay, how do I do so? How do I align myself with the commuting students community? And so since we're operating in the virtual space, I encourage you to do 4 things for me. So 2 you're going to be doing now or throughout the course of the day. And then the other 2 you're going to just do frequently. So first, I'm going to ask you to follow the Commuting Students Office on all our social media platforms. And we have 4, right? And so the 3 that I'm going to tell you about, they have the same handles. So once you go onto YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, it is UWI_CSO, right? So it's UWI_CSO. So once you go on those 2 platforms, we're UWI_CSO. And then we have our YouTube channel. So once you type in UWI Commuting Students Office, you will be on our YouTube channel, right? And the second thing I'm gonna ask you to do is to turn on your notification on YouTube. Why? Because most of our sessions are streamed from Zoom to our YouTube channel. And so once content is there, you will get a notification as to what content is there and how you can engage with the content. And trust me, the Commuting Students Office, we do have a lot of content that are related to you. Our student leaders also use this YouTube platform. So any activity that you will be engaging through them will be on our YouTube channel. We curate a YouTube platform that you can engage with 24/7, right? The next thing I'm gonna ask you to do is to activate your UWI Mona emails, right? And check them. And also check your personal emails. Now, when we have programs and activities, we post them on all our platforms and we send them via email. So if you get a flyer about a program that you are interested in and it asks you to register, and we do QR code registration, Google Forms, and so forth. So once you are asked to register for a program, register immediately. Registration will really help us to help you. So what we do is once you register, we send you notifications about the activity just a day or 2 before the activity. Sometimes we even call students, depends on the nature of the activity that's being held. So I ask you to do this because In the virtual space, this is the only way you're going to be fully engaged. If you follow us, if you turn on your when you turn on your notifications to get notified as to things that are happening, when you check your emails regularly, and if you register for a program, and we'll help you to remember when that program is being held. So remember, I said I was going to tell you about a particular program that is suited for you. But there are two specific things that I would like to recommend to you. So that is, one is the program, and two is a resource that we have in the office. So Commuter Care Initiative is what I want you to remember, Commuter Care Initiative. And this is really a partnership between the Commuting Students Office and the Commuting Students Guilds Committee, who are your Guilds Committee members, right? What we do is approach corporate Jamaica to help you as commuting students. You'll be their customers eventually, if not so now, right? To really assist students who are in need with groceries, hygiene products, and since we're online, we've added credit for data plan activation to that. So once you see a notification or flyer that is out to say, hey, if you're interested in applying if you're in need and you need a care package, apply for a commuter care package right now. So look out for that. And we helped over 200 students last year, and we want to help more, right? The next thing is the program. So the program is the Change Makers Club. And so the Change Makers Club is the Commuting Students Office Service Learning and Civic Engagement Program. And this is predominantly virtual volunteer program, right? In previous times when we were face-to-face, it was volunteering, in the space. But now that we're online, last year we had over 100 students volunteering online. And half of those students had completed their times within semester 1, right? And so we give you the opportunity to volunteer. Number of hours are flexible. Volunteer spaces are flexible as well. We have students who volunteer with Jamaica for Justice. There's another Clean Hands Across Jamaica and so forth. And so I encourage you to be a change maker, right? It really provides you with a lot of flexibility while you're in the online space. And I think this is very important in your development as future healthcare professionals, as you work on developing and enhancing competencies such as empathy, understanding group dynamics, understanding people. We have a lot to offer in the Change Makers Club, and I know that you will benefit tremendously from it, right? So remember I said to you, it was just an insight into the Commuting Students Office. So these are just a few of the many support and resources available to you when you engage in the Commuting Students virtual community. We are really looking forward to an engaging semester together, and I'm happy that we will be able to help you ignite your flame to burn brighter each year on your journey here at UWI, starting today. So before I go, I want to share one other thing about our Commuting Students community with you, and that is we try, especially now in the online space, to build a strong and supportive community that supports others while also developing self. And so when we were in the physical space, you would have been in your lounge interacting with each other. We'd have had a Commuting Students lounge, you're underneath the trees, the gazebos and so forth. You're interacting, you're sharing. And we say, why not in the online space, So there's an activity, I hope persons are familiar with word clouds, right? And so I have an activity for you to do, which is going to be an empowerment word cloud. And so what our empowerment word cloud will be is an FMS empowerment word cloud. I believe that this will help you throughout some rough patches that might be ahead, or just to provide that drive to progress daily. So our empowerment word cloud would be just words that you're putting out there into the universe, into a cloud, to help yourself. You're saying, I have poured into this word cloud. These are things, these are my, strengths that I need to progress daily. So I'm going to share my screen in a short while, but I'm also going to put a link in the YouTube chat so that you can engage and see the word cloud populate. So what is going to happen is that when the cloud populates, I'm going to close it and you can screenshot it to see those words that you would pull on as you progress through the semester. So I'm going to just go into the YouTube right now and I'm going to post the link. Just a minute. My name is Keresha Larmond in the YouTube. I'm not posting from the commuters YouTube. So I'm posting the link for you to interact with it, right? And this is all ours. FMS empowerment word chart. All right, so all right. So if you cannot click it, which you should be able to, just copy and paste it in your browser and you should be able to activate it from there. I'm hoping that it does work. I'm going to share my screen so that you can see your word cloud populate. Just a minute. Yep. Sorry. Awesome. Could you just type yes if you are able to click on the link in the chat for me? Just type yes in the chat if you're able to click the link or you're able to interact with it. Not seeing any yeses. Carol, can you help, please? I'm going to post the link in, or any technical person would be able to help me to get them to interact with the link.
Is Mr. Brown there?
Mr. Brown, okay, Mr. Brown, I'm going to post it.
Or Shanice?
Or Shanice.
Yeah, just post a link in the chat so that I can get it into the YouTube.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
All right. It's in the chat. So while we do that, okay, so while I wait for the link to great, so persons are interacting. So for persons who are actually, let me get your full screen there. Nice, thriving. So persons who are actually thinking, I'm going to give you some prompters. And so one of the prompters is, in one word, what is your biggest goal for this academic year? another prompter, and you might want to use all 3 words because you get the opportunity to do 3 words. What word or words would you want others to use to describe you? And in 1 word, what traits will you be looking for in a friend? And another, in 1 word, what do you expect to accomplish from this orientation? Right, so I see determination, great, success, motivated, godly, academic, extraordinary, thriving. And those things are what makes up our community. We're strong, we're resilient, we're determined, right? And so as we go through this academic year, I want you to pull on these words to take you through the times that you're here. So I just like to say thanks once again for listening and participating. I am happy that I was able to share with you today, wishing for you a safe, productive, and successful academic year, my FMS family. Thank you so much. I'm gonna give you 1 minute to just let the word cloud populate a little bit more, and then I'm going to stop deactivate it, sorry. Over to you, Carol.
Ms. Larmond, I thank you so much for that one, because so often our students become lost in the academics of university life, totally forgetting their civic duty, their responsibilities to others, their interpersonal relationships, etc. And I can see where your various communities that you have actually set up, the intellectual competency, the IP relationship, change makers, health and wellness as tools to survive. Our students need to be aware of the availability of these various avenues through which they can develop themselves to grow, yes, to self-discover, as also to make a difference in society, to create that balance of co-curricular and academic life. Yes, we ask that our students actually engage, try to engage as early as you can in these activities across the campus. As you said, not just for commuting students, but also for those who will be engaging online. Yes, the students who actually live on campus. When I heard the term commuting, I thought, oh, students who travel. Yes, actually are off the campus. But of course, it has taken on a broader scope to engage students at all levels, especially in the online environment. Everybody now becomes a part of this melting pot of activities that will, of course, inure to their development, both spiritually, physically, mentally, academically, and otherwise. Again, thank you so much for your presentation.
Thanks for having me.
Good. Okay. Our final speaker for the morning is again Ms. Xaria Strachan from the FMS Guild. She is the FMS Guild representative for the MBBS, and she's an MBBS year 5 or 5th year, final year student. Welcome again, Ms. Strachan. You were introduced earlier, so I need not introduce you again. Okay.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
All right, so good morning again, everyone. So this morning, I'll just be taking you through how the Guild Committee operates and what we do, as well as opportunities for self-growth and development as a student in the faculty. So I'm just going to share my screen so that you can see the presentation. All right. Okay, so the FMS Guild Committee is divided into internal affairs and external affairs, over which the different vice presidents control or assist the department representatives or other members of the committee. So on the internal affairs, we have the program representatives for BBMedSc, DDS, MBBS, nursing, PharmD, physical therapy, radiography, and also the secretary. External Affairs, Public Relations, Treasurer or the Finance Committee, External Affairs Chairperson, CAC, Publications Committee Chairperson, Games Committee Chairperson, Website Manager or Designer, and the Sponsorship Manager. So to go into the committee members, I am the FMS Guild representative. I sit on the Guild Council, which is a body of elected student leaders. The FMS Guild Committee mostly are selected through interviews with the Guild advisor, outgoing Guild representative, and incoming Guild representative. The program representatives are oftentimes voted in by the students as they are associations. So they're the association presidents. So the Vice President of External Affairs you would have met earlier, LaShawn Redwood. Vice President of Internal Affairs, Chelsea Agard. Secretary, Shadikel Cassie. Public Relations Officer, Amira Schwenzel. Assistant Secretary, Chanel Trowers. External Affairs Chairperson, Rosemary Moore. CAC, Mikhail Larmond. Danielle Jennard as the Publications Committee Chairperson. Aisha Simone Brown, Games Committee Chairperson. Website Designer, Amanda Webley. Shanique Aline as Sponsorship Manager. Samara Dewar as the Physical Therapy Representative, also the Association President. Shamar Patterson, Diagnostic Imaging Representative and also Association President. Omalide Adekeye, JADSA President and also the DDS Representative. Jeffrey Thomas, Basic Med Representative. Alicia Grant, the Nursing Representative and also the Association President. Dylan Thompson, Doctor of Pharmacy Representative and Association President. Lisa Marie Whittaker, the MBBS Preclinical Representative, that is for years 1, 2, and semester 1 of year 3. MBBS and Devon Brewster, MBBS Clinical Representative, so year 3, semester 2 to final year. So the roles of the Guild committees that we advocate on behalf of students to higher administration. So how we really operate is that the class presidents or students can come to their program representatives, and those program representatives represent the students on their behalf to the program coordinators. Of course, if it's a personal matter, then of course the students will go directly to their program coordinator or whoever they need to approach. But if it's something that would affect other students in the group, it is preferred that you go through your program representative, so it can be done collectively. If it has to be escalated, then I would speak on your behalf to the dean and the university administration. Of course, as I said, if it is something personal, then you could handle it for yourself. So we also host events and activities that provide assistance, entertainment, and support to students. As LaShawn would have gone into earlier, we have things like the Eden Experience that would cater to the spiritual life of our students, as well as offering some counseling if needed. We also have a little, like for example, the Carnival wind down we would be having hopefully in May. That would get somebody who is has more of that personality. We also have pageants if you're a pageant person. So we have everything to cater to the needs of all of our students. We also foster self-growth and the development of students into future leaders. So you are able to join the committee. There are also subcommittees that you can join that LaShawn will go into a little later. So help you to develop into the student leader that you will be one day, or just overall leader later on in life. To highlight thus far, the equipment drive has catered to 60 students across the various programs. We have developed the FMS handbook addendum that LaShawn will speak to you more about. We have worked alongside the Dean's Office to provide the MBBS students with outstanding grades in a timely manner. We've sourced external sponsors to assist the MBBS students' rural accommodation. We have created a brief FMS virtual tour. We'll show you clips of it later in the presentation, and the full tour will be uploaded to our YouTube channel later on this week or early next week for you to see. We've done our freshers Q&A via Instagram story, COVID-19 sensitization campaign, launched the FMS Fantasy Premier League competition, and we also have an ongoing device and book drive. So we also have other activities that are going to be happening throughout the year, so you can look out for it in your emails and on our social media pages. So here are some images from our equipment drive. One student expressed their extreme gratitude for the equipment that she received from the drive. Freshers Q&A. Also, our COVID-19 sensitization campaign, where we posted Mythbusters. Students shared videos of themselves saying why they got vaccinated, encouraging other students to get vaccinated as well. So after this, this orientation session, you are able to go and get vaccinated, and I do encourage you to do so as well. The Fantasy Premier League, keeping in line with the Premier League competition that is English Premier League competition that is happening right now. And then I will go into the FMS virtual tour. All right. Okay, there we go. So all right, everyone, multiple flights on a protocol. Let's go. So we will now hand over to LaShawn Redwood so that she is able to speak more on the different committees that you can join and the FMS handbook. LaShawn?
So good morning once more, everyone. There are some subcommittees that you can join. For example, the Publications Committee, the Public Relations Committee, the External Affairs Committee, and the Cultural Entertainment Affairs Committee. The links to join these subcommittees will be sent by hopefully next week in your respective groups. With regards to the handbook, it is almost complete because we realized that many students have been complaining about not being able to know which courses to register for, especially if they enter the faculty later than the first week of school. So what our committee has done is to amend the current faculty's handbook, have basically pictures of the different program directors, courses that persons can register for. So this handbook should be available, the soft copy should be available by next week. And our committees will also have some packages for FMS week in October. So look out for the registration on your Instagram and on our Twitter pages. So remember to follow us at UWISERT for more details and more updates. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, thanks, LaShawn. So that is the end of the Guild portion of the presentation. We look forward to working with you this year. Congratulations and have a great day.
Okay, thank you, Xaria, for your presentation. So students, you have learned of the organizational structure of the Guild, its leaders, the roles of the Guild Committee as an interface between the programs and the student body. And I can tell you, as the acting program coordinator for SMRT, Shamar has been doing just that. He has just been agitating and agitating and agitating. And I welcome that agitation because I'm learning so much from him. And he consults with me on so many things. I know that this is a very active body. I'm also interested in your leadership development program. It highlights your activities and the various committees. And I know that our students, our incoming students, have been given a taste of what the areas or opportunities for engagement are. And I hope that they will take advantage of this opportunity. The next I'm seeing on the program is a break ahead of, so we're kind of on target, a little bit before the target time. I just use the opportunity here to reiterate the need for to take advantage of the vaccination opportunities at the Mona Aging and Wellness Center. We understand that that activity has been moved to the old library, which I said was just a few steps away from the Aging and Wellness Center. Again, students with surnames A to G and H to M, your respective scheduled times are 1 to 2:30 p.m. for the group with surnames A to G, and those with surnames H to M, your scheduled time is 2:30 to 4 p.m. today. For September 1 tomorrow, students with names N to S, 1 to 2:30 p.m. And for surnames T to Z, 2:30 to 4 p.m. tomorrow. Remember, today is a no movement day. So if you're taking advantage of the opportunity, you need to travel with the letter which you have received from Dr. Theon Jones, the chairman of the Medical Sciences Orientation Committee. So please walk with the letter and some kind of identification and your TRN to be facilitated at the vaccination site. At this time, I'd like to turn over to Dr. Garbott for any closing remarks or any other kind of notification to the students. And I thank you for being attentive listeners. We had a lineup of interesting presentations, and we are hoping that as you begin your journey with us, that you will bear these presentations in mind as you engage, interact, you study, and you also, in the end, finally will find it rewarding as you are awarded your degrees in your various professional fields. Have a very good day and enjoy the rest of your orientation. Dr. Garbott or Dr. Jones?
Hi, good morning, everyone. We're right here. We're not quite finished. It's just a short break. And we're hoping that we can recommence by 11 a.m. Just checking that everyone is ready. We were very much on time and had no delays. And for that, I'm very thankful. But we will just check in with our next presenter to ensure that we can start, because it does ensure that we can move over to the vaccination blitz in a timely manner as well. So I will ask for the sharing of the screen just for the vaccination blitz information page, the letter that was sent out to be shared. And we will move shortly right into our acculturation activity once it is ready to go. Welcome back, everyone. We are ready to go with our acculturation activity. And at this time, I would like to invite our Personal Professional Development Officer from the Faculty of Medical Sciences to introduce herself as she takes over for the next presentation. Ms. Khadene Campbell, over to you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It's truly a privilege to be with you this morning. Let me make sure that all my faculties are engaged. Sounds on. Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Garbutt, for the opportunity to share with the new incoming class regarding their transition to becoming essential. I would also like to express gratitude to the FMS New Student Orientation Committee, and as well as to Dr. Prof. Thane, Dean Thane, and congratulations for her being the first female to obtain this role as the Dean. And as well, last but not least, to express gratitude to a former colleague of mine, Dr. Goldberg, who I shared this role with and who started out the platform as a personal and professional development, which created opportunities to support the students in their success journey. Again, my name is Khadene Campbell, and welcome to the experience of becoming essential. Congratulations, congratulations, and congratulations to all. You have truly chosen a unique time to embark your journey as becoming professional healthcare providers. And we heartfelt thanks. I personally want to tell you how much I really appreciate you stepping out on faith, being so courageous to take on this journey despite all the challenges that surround us. There's a Chinese proverb that says, where there's chaos, there is opportunity. So thank you for your boldness and thank you for your bravery, because we need those kind of healthcare providers in this time, all right? So the plan for this experience is to just briefly share with you the services that my office provide, the personal and professional development office provide, as well as to engage you in a self-discovery activity that will attach to the whole acculturation component, and then highlighting ways to adapt to online learning.
Step by step, we're going to figure this out, and we're going to find a way through this.
We're working really, really hard in the hospitals, our nurses, our techs, all the docs.
It's about staggering when people get it so that the hospitals can cope.
We're going to go through an awful lot of these.
All across Puget Sound, people have been stepping up and donating personal protective equipment.
We stay at work.
For you. You stay at home for us.
Just know we're all with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, doctors and nurses.
Again, we want to say thank you. So I view you as a circle of lifesavers. We have the bachelor's program of nursing, DDS students, PT students, PharmD students, MBBS students, BBMedSc, and the SMART students. I want to welcome you again to this experience of your journey of becoming essential. You clearly will probably wonder or see my intro in the first part regarding my experience. But yes, my background is also in healthcare. In fact, I'm a nurse. So I will definitely seek opportunities where we can connect in the healthcare realm as you continue your journey of becoming essential workers. So what does it mean to be essential? Which is the new student success journey? It's not just, you're not just enrolled in a program as a student, please. Your story is totally different. You are really responding to a crisis. You are responding to a pandemic that is affecting the whole universe. It's not even just globally, but it's universal, has a universal impact. So you are essential because we cannot survive without you. I know I wrote, we can't survive without you. We need you, all right? And with that being said, my role is to help you to maintain, to retain, to excel, to achieve, to actualize your greatest potential in the personal and professional development manner. So let's see what the great Chadwick has to say about this.
Sometimes you need to get knocked down before you can really figure out what your fight is and how you need to fight it. Sometimes you need to feel the pain and sting of defeat to activate the real passion and purpose.
Oops, sorry.
Purpose that God predestined inside of you. God says in Jeremiah, I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Hear me well on this day. This day when you have reached the hilltop and you are deciding on next jobs, next steps, careers, further education. You would rather find purpose than a job or a career. Purpose crosses disciplines. Purpose is an essential element of you. It is the reason you are on the planet at this particular time in history. Your very existence is wrapped up in the things you are here to fulfill. Whatever you choose for a career path, remember the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose. When God has something for you, it doesn't matter who stands against it. If it's meant for you, God will move someone that's holding you back away from a door and put someone there who will open it for you. I don't know what your future is, but if you're willing to take the harder way, the more complicated one, the one with more failures at first than successes, the one that has ultimately proven to have more meaning, more victory, more glory, then you will not regret it. Press on with pride and press on with purpose and appreciate what God has brought you through. Sometimes you need to.
Let me just get through this real quick. But we can clearly see that that video was very empowering, and the fact that he highlighted the purpose that you have responded to, the call that you have responded to, and that you're not just on a journey of obtaining a job at the end of a career, but is actually to build a gap between life and literally death. So as a personal and professional development officer, my essential statement, because I too am essential, and I have an essential role during this time to see you becoming essentially successful, is to support, is to educate, is to motivate you through holistic personal and professional development strategies for the Faculty of Medical Sciences healthcare professional essential students while enhancing your success. Indeed, I take this essential statement to heart. And so I am excited about the opportunity. I am here for you. And yes, we are continuing on our new normal. And we will not just look at it as new, but we will embrace it as it is an opportunity for us to discover new things about ourselves. I added this pic here, and this is what we look like in prior new student orientation experiences or seminars that I've conducted. And this picture was taken with the MBBS students, okay? So my teaching philosophy is for the heart of the teacher is to remain a student. And this statement is very powerful because it's filled with a lot of empathy. And what that really means is that I know what you are going through, I know what you will be going through, and I know what you will encounter after you finish this season in your life. So I can relate with you. I know your fears, your joys, because I have been there, literally. I know when you look at these huge textbooks and you're wondering, okay, how many questions can a teacher ask from a 30-chapter examination? I know the fears of those exams that you have to take. In addition to that, most of your teaching and learning experience will be online. I too have experience online learning as a professor as well as a student. So I know the ins and outs and the demand that learning online can require of you. So I bring to you my background in healthcare, which is nursing, my strengths, as well as my background in education as a nursing professor in my former experience, and as a coach, a life coaching experience, master life coaching experience that really brings in the socio-psycho-educational dynamics where we look at multiple things, which is more on the personal level. And this is critical. As we look at ways to develop more programs, you will see how all these three strengths that I bring to you can really improve your academic journey, personally and professionally. So what are some of the things that we will highlight from our office? We will look at time management for you. Motivation is critical. Some students go, miss, me just not feel motivated. And we have to be intentional about looking at creative ways of becoming more motivated. We will look at the academic and social balance, test-taking strategies, goal setting, being organized, or even avoiding procrastination. That is a big issue, especially now that we're doing online teaching and learning, and connecting with resources, not just resources as in tangible resources like, you need to know more about loans or grants, but resources such as peer support, okay? And then finally, study skills. Of course, this is not all the services that we have offered in the past or even will offer in the future. What we have done, we are intentional about customizing the needs for the student. So we are open to your suggestions and recommendations as well. So how do we obtain or how do we launch these programs? Again, we do them through master life coaching skills, academic career, psychoeducational or psychosocial educational development strategies to enhance student success. Let's continue to talk about some of the services that the PPDO office provides. We also look at the service for collaboration. This is critical. I must emphasize the importance of the collaborative piece with these communities group. You are the main reason why we are here. The reason I'm here is for you, okay? So there will be more programs that will look at student partnership. because your eyes and your ears are more involved and you're more aware of a lot of the changes that are taking place within your groups, within your year groups, within your programs. So there's additional communication or collaboration with the deans, deputy deans, and Deputy Dean of Student Success, Dr. Garbutt, clinical coordinators and clinical instructors. In the past, I've also visited students on the clinical side, and sometimes just that 1 or 2 minutes conversation with them can just revitalize them, motivate them, inspire them to go back on that ward and continue to provide excellent care for their patients. I've also collaborated with program directors as well as coordinators, UWI Office of Student Finance, the UWI Health Center and Counseling Services, the Office of Student Services and Development, International Student Office, especially the International Student Office. This is critical. This will become even more important as changes are made, open as you resume to the facility itself. Typically in third year, that's when it usually happens, or in first year, it typically happens, but given the situation, it'll be in third year. But you might want to join us before then. Either way it goes, we're here for you. I have extensive experience in the international realm of academics as well as missions outreach. And so I can be of that resource to help you to adjust and to adapt. There's also opportunity for community referrals, might be churches. Some students come, they leave, from Manchester or other parishes to Kingston, needing to find opportunity to reconnect with their church families or a branch of their church families. So I help to find them resources. I make referral to the counseling center or counseling support off campus. Some students have had personal concerns within their relationship or family concern, and so we make professional referral for them offsite, as well as employment. Some students will ask for referral letter, and I will write those letters for them to help them to get referral. And last but not least, the alumni are a group of students who still reach out. I have had connections with students even after they graduate, whether they go back home to Trinidad or they just go back home to St. Elizabeth. Students still reach out saying, hey, miss, how you doing? Or miss, this is my challenge right now, X, Y, and Z. And it speaks volume about the relationship that we have here with our students. We authentically care for you all, and we are genuine about you becoming successful. So please make sure you utilize the opportunities that are available for you. So some of the programs that were launched, especially after we have gone online, include study skills and exam preparation. And because we have 7 programs, a lot of these programs, then we have to be intentional in how we schedule them and do effective collaborations with directors of each programs. Other programs that were launched was the virtual grief support group. Because life happens, of course, now you see there's a more increased number in the passing of people due to COVID, and some of those students were impacted. And so the virtual grief support group was really launched for that kind of support. And we do have students who have lost loved ones from other experiences or incidents, but nevertheless, this was one program that we found critical to support students. And one of my favorites is the lounge, which is an opportunity where we engage life, art, heart, healing, and science. And it's like a social setting, a social environment that's done virtually. It's usually done like in the evening, 7 o'clock on a Thursday, typically like the last Thursday of the month, and it's geared for FMS students only. I love this opportunity because it merges all FMS students together, and we don't get the chance to see them play together a lot. So this is very critical that we were intentional about meeting their social needs. I mean, our students are vibrant, y'all are creative, y'all are natural leaders, and the social component of your academic success journey is critical. And we wanted to make sure we continued that for you. In these forums, we had talks, and one of the last ones we had was about Black Lives Matter. So what we do, we bring in like everyday situations or concerns from the society, and we integrate it in a space where we look at how does this impact healing, how does this impact heart, how does this impact science, how does this matter to health, how does it matter to healthcare. We are intentional about helping our students to see that they have to go beyond their boundaries, beyond their borders. They cannot just live like ostriches with their head in the sand, but they have to be equipped. They have to be knowledgeable about what is going on in the world, and they have to have an opinion about it. And so we're cultivating strong, vibrant, articulate, intelligent leaders, professional leaders at that. And we want to acknowledge their talents. Some of the students recited poems during this experience. They played their guitars or whatever musical gifts they have. And it's just a moment to chill. It was laid back. I was so impressed and so amazed after this experience. I received a text message from a physical therapist, second-year student, and she wrote me and she said, "Miss, this was an informative session. Thank you." It was a really great way to bring the students in the medical faculty a bit more together. One of my underlying theory is that they play together, they learn together, they work together. That is also patient care success. No big eyes, no little eyes. You're not more important than I am. I'm not more important than you are. If we want to change the culture of healthcare, we have to start from this level when they are achieving their journey of becoming essential. So I was so blessed by this statement and even more inspired to really create opportunities like these. And you can clearly see that students are comfortable. It's important for me to create a safe space where students can relate and connect with me, or the office of the personal and professional development officer, because this is why we're here. So even after an occasion like this, she felt so relaxed and comfortable to reach out. My aim is to connect with you. You're challenging me to be able to speak your language. And so I too have to continue to be in the process of acculturation. What are other programs that were launched? We launched a career development program that was actually installed or implemented in the Western Jamaica campus with a nursing student. I mentioned about the grief support. One of the signature program is the academic recovery program called ARP. And pretty much that is based for students who weren't successful in a course. And so we strengthen them and they resume taking their exams. And for the most part, they are successful afterwards. I mentioned about the lounge, and the future project will be students being intentional or partnering with students. And we need this more now than ever before. You have a voice and you matter. So one of the concerns that I see that's developing or slowly increasing in the academic world is bullying. And this is apparent. Research has shown that since we're more in the virtual space of teaching and learning, that bullying is possible. It's becoming more prevalent. In fact, prior to COVID-19, there were concerns about the usage of cyber technology, which could be text messaging, such as even on WhatsApp. Students brought some of these concerns to my attention, and one case is too many. Let me repeat that. One case of any incident of cyberbullying or bullying at all is too many. And a lot of the time, students are afraid of coming out. I am sharing this with you that even if you have been bullied before, it's a great opportunity for you to make an appointment so we can talk about it. okay? We need to process that out so we can facilitate opportunity for your healing and make the necessary referrals. Do not feel guilty, do not feel ashamed about the process, but it's important because the consequence of bullying can lead to suicide. In fact, I'm aware of a case like that occurred, not in this institution, but if it's occurring somewhere else, then why not our institution as well? So this is what I do. I'm proactive, not reactive. I'm letting you know I'm here for you. Let's look a little bit at what bullying is all about.
Hi guys, welcome back to my blog. Today, we're gonna ask ourselves the most ancient question of them all, dots or stripes. So, okay, on one hand, stripes are, so as I was saying, stop it! For 2 days, you've been flying around here and picking on me. You're driving me crazy. Stop it!
Bullying is a behavior that hurts, harms, or humiliates a person. There are different types of bullying. Active bullying, which includes physical bullying, and verbal bullying, such as name-calling.
Loser.
Passive bullying, when a person makes the other feel invisible by ignoring them or not inviting them to join in a game or party. And cyberbullying, such as sending mean messages by text, email, or on social media. A bully looks for ways to get power and control over another person to make that person feel bad and to make themselves look more powerful. If somebody bullies you, look at them and tell them to stop in a calm, clear voice. If speaking up seems too hard or not safe, walk away and tell a friend or talk to a parent, teacher, counselor, or any other trusted adult. If you're being cyberbullied, don't respond or forward the messages. Block the number on your cell phone or unfriend the person on social media. Keep evidence of the cyberbullying by saving the text, tweet, or picture and report it to an adult. If you witness bullying, speak up and let the bully know what they're doing is not okay. If the bullying continues, walk away and get help. Keep asking for help until someone listens or the situation changes. If you know someone who's been bullied, be kind to them so they'll know that they're not alone. Anyone can be the victim of bullying. People bully other people for all kinds of reasons. Bullying can hurt, both physically and emotionally, but don't blame yourself. Remember, it's not your fault. You are awesome.
Oh, you poor thing. You were just lonely and needed some attention. Here, have a cookie.
Okay, guys, till next time. And don't forget to come and visit me at amaze.org or...
Absolutely. That was a brief summary of what, overview of what bullying looks like and how we can be involved, how we can respond to bullying or being bullied. And the most important thing is the role of a bystander. It's not just to stand there, but it's to speak up. It's to actually say something and to do something about it. Okay? All right. So let me make sure I get back to these screens as we continue our presentations. Oh. And the biggest thing is making sure that you are willing to connect and share your experience and not to be afraid of sharing. So who is a bully? Someone or something or someone who's making themselves feel insecure and they bully to make themselves feel better. So typically the bully themselves needs some help. And we are not about pointing fingers and blaming. We're about creating an opportunity to facilitating healing or provide resources or help for everyone involved in these situations. They could have had something going on in their family. A lot of times there's a power control issue or struggle that is going on. And so acting out in a large group or picking on someone who typically are more great leaders or have some great talent about them, then they can be more be at risk to become victims of being bullied. They could have something going on in their family. They might not feel like they are getting enough attention from parents or teachers. They might have watched their parents or older siblings get their way by being angry and pushy. Maybe they are also bullied themselves, and they might be spoiled by their parents. Either way it goes, as I mentioned, the victims, the one who's doing the bully, and the bystander, everyone involved needs to get some kind of interventions done, and the programs will be launched, and I'll be following up with you regarding this, okay? So the resilient student, I want you to think about the fact that failure is an important part of your growth and developing your resilience. And that quote is by Michelle Obama. And I have encountered students who weren't successful in a course before, but they try and they try and they try. They apply the changes that were needed, apply the skills and the steps and the strategies and the interventions that were recommended, and it made a difference in their success journey. So my encouragement to you is, do not be afraid or intimidated if you weren't successful on a course initially, but let's sit down together, let's reflect, and let's make the necessary changes so you can become successful. And let's rewrite your story as it relates to not being successful initially. What are some of the things that you can learn from this experience? And this is in a very practical manner as well. I have had sessions with students who are very intelligent, very smart. They even have had, other degrees prior to their current FMS academic journey. And I looked at it and I said, no, there's more behind this. We realized that there are some emotional concerns that was there. So definitely we want to learn from even the unfortunate or failure experiences that might be there. So what students are saying, the students at chat say, you want students to express themselves in experiences. And so one student said, before attending this session, my thoughts were disorganized as to a way forward. Through activities employed by Ms. Campbell, I was able to see that my main weakness is from an emotional place and not academic. I was empowered by this knowledge to do better and start planning my method of studying again. Because the reality is emotional health is important in the academic journey. It is critical. Time and time again, students are being bombarded by other issues that are in their personal life, which hinder their academic journey. So it's important for us to process these concerns. So your role, I'm asking for you, is to communicate your interest, to participate in support group, and welcome your suggestions, your topics that you might have, or the activities that you might have. And definitely you want to use your UWIMONA email address, my UWIMONA email address when communicating with me. All right. Here's my contact, and success is the sum of small efforts repeated. That's my email address right there. And you can email me and we'll schedule appointments. Okay. So now we have achieved our first plan for this session. Let's take a mini intervention by just celebrating a little bit.
It may only be another minute. 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 So pull it. Man, I'm growing up place, so I never get no respect. No. Never get no good education, can't get a big check. No. So man, I grew up, everybody want me know in a distress. Yeah. And it's so easy, yeah, you get a big test, or addicted, and a victim. And enough man hold it out, cause them couldn't hold it out. And enough man sold it out, cause them couldn't go without. And in pursuit of riches, enough man take the girly road. But that a fit them thing, that is not what my story about. This up for those who persevere and who see through the tears. And in the grand scheme of everything, them still the here. And although we no millionaire, feel like a millionaire, we still a celebrate. To put me hand in the air and say I am a success story. Yeah, success. A success story. I am a success story. Yeah, success. A success story. I am a success story. Yeah, success. A success story. I am a success story. Yeah, success. A success story.
Please.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Journey where we step in life. Yeah.
Please find ways to keep your success story. Please find ways to celebrate the small. And for me, music is one of those things. We talk about success story, and at the end of this experience, you will also be able to talk about your success story, celebrate your success story, and do not wait. When I say the end, not when you're graduating. At the end of this day, identify a success story. What was the positive highlight for this day? So as we transition to the topic of acculturation, which is more highlighted in the matter of transitioning. As a little girl, as yours truly, yes, I had the mic at an early age. I delivered the head girl speech at my primary school. And at that time, I had a passion for traveling, for experiencing different cultures, and serving others through health, education, and spiritual care. My mom was a nurse. My dad was a school teacher. And in my spare time, I used to go into the community to this lady's house, and I'll help her place newspaper on the holes in our wooden house. So I had a passion for serving, for giving, for being a missionary. And I remember having a conversation with God. I said, God, please, before you return, could I go to America? Make it possible for me to go to America. Make it possible for me to go and give and to serve. And indeed, God answered a childlike prayers, and I was able to serve in over 10 countries. So the topic of acculturation, the topic of cultural sensitivity, cultural exposure, cultural diversity, culture, I love, I appreciate, I'm passionate about, and I give back in that sense. Not only did I just go to these countries, but I actually had the chance to teach, to do research. I did my research in Belize, and Dr. Garbrick and I connected on that, as well as to do missions outreach in DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. So indeed, I am a success story. And do not underestimate your childlike desires and your dreams and your visions, because my captive audience was my colleague. And here I am today, my captive audience are students, where I still support, motivate, educate, and inspire as they achieve their next step in life. So let's continue to talk more about acculturation and what does it mean into your new normal. Acculturation, and it is a process of social, psychological, and cultural change that stems from the blending between cultures. Now, while it is an amazing opportunity to go and embark and discover new cultures and to serve in new countries, it also has its positives as well as its negative. So I had the amazing opportunity to serve as a nursing professor in Israel, Ramat Gan, in fact, and I spent a summer in Tel Aviv, where I taught registered nurses RN to BSN program, and it was an amazing experience for me. But one of my challenges was how to connect with the students. As you can see, the classroom was very diverse. in religion background and practices, and also socioeconomic statuses. And so I felt challenged. I began to develop this level of stress and anxiety about the experience, which prior to going, I was told that some teachers leave after 2 weeks, but I was destined to take on the challenge. So I recalled in my hotel room, I went to God about it. I said, God, I want you to give me the courage, give me the wisdom in how to convert this teaching and learning experience in a positive one, because I could have identified some of the challenges or the barriers in learning because of the different groups and the obvious theological separations and the challenges that were in the society. And in a small, still voice, the Holy Spirit said to me, show them me. I said, what? He said, yes. To the Muslim, you connect with them through their diet because they're very kosher diet, as well as Jews have a kosher diet, but the Muslims, you connect with them through their diet. We're not eating pork, and that's part of my practice. And he says, to the Christian, you connect with them in the belief of Christ. And then to the Jews, you connect with them in your belief or your practice of Shabbat. And that I did. And when I went back to class, they were amazed. They were like, Casey, how did you know this? How did you know that? And once we got rid of our differences, we were able to create a positive teaching, playful learning environment. So as you transition to your online learning as well, you have to be intentional about connecting, about adapting. And one of the things that helped me to realize that positive cultural experiences happen based on our personality type, based on us knowing our strengths and our weaknesses. And so we can identify areas in how to get better, how to become more excellent or successful students in the teaching and learning online experience. So the activity that I have for you will do just that, help you to identify your personality. It is called What Color Are You? And it was developed by a student or a researcher named Lori. And he pretty much looked at the fact that our personality is also attached to colors. So I would like for you to get a sheet of paper and develop this table. Do not be intimidated by it. It is very simple. Just draw 4 columns. And write the letters on there. I'll give you a few minutes while you do this task. Again, this is the template that we will use where you can write your answers down as we discover more about your personality, as this activity will help you to transition well in the online teaching and learning experience. A few more minutes. So at the bottom here, if you can't see it, it says total score, which is score, total score, total score. So at the end of the activity, we will be able to identify if your primary color is orange, green, blue, or gold, and what does this mean? All right, a few more minutes. And you can be creative, make your own shortcut version of it. Yes. All right. Don't be intimidated. No right or wrong answer. Take your time. And if you need me to go back, let me know. You can always text me in the chat. All right. Can I have an indication of, yes, we can move along? You got it? And hear from a student in the chat. Okay. All right, let's move along. So here's the instructions, very simple. I will give you a set of words and you compare all 4 boxes in each row. Do not analyze each word. Just get the sense of each box. Score each of the 4 boxes in each row from the most to least as it describes you. All that simply means is, if you feel like this group of words describe you the most, then you put 4. If it describes you less, you put 3. Or if it kind of sort of describes you, you put 2. And if it's the least description of who you are, then you put 1. All right? I think you got it. Here we go. And there are only 5 questions, so it's not a lot. It's a group of words, as I mentioned. So you have the group of words for A. If you feel like this group of words represents you the most, put 4. If you feel like B represents you somewhat, put 2. If you feel like C represents you a lot, put 3. And if you feel like group D words represent you the least, put 1. Rule number 1 is do not repeat the numbers, meaning you cannot have 4 for A and 4 for C, okay? You can only use the numbers once in each group, once for each question, okay? That makes sense? Again, we are learning about your color. This is how we help you to identify your personality type, which you can get to develop from that, your level of resilience, even how you study, how you learn. This is the way you get to do self-discovery. All right. Eventually, you will have to interact with me. So I hope you're getting comfortable with that. Question 2. And notice that there are E and F and G and H, okay? Go ahead and identify the groups based on the numbers of your choice. Identify each number 1 time. You're doing well. Very good. All right. Question 3. You have IJKL, write the numbers one time. Okay. And question number 4. MNOP. All right. And last but not least, question number 5. All right. All done. Okay. Moving forward. So what you will do next is to add your highest numbers in your color type. So for example, what you put for A, it was a 4, you put 4 right there. If you put 2 for H, you put 4 plus 2. Plus K, you might have put 1. N, you might have put 3. S, you might have put 4. Okay. The numbers that you place under these letters, you add them. And that will let you know your score for that color. This is the final step. And this is how we'll be able to tell which color type you are. All right. Give you a few more minutes to write those numbers under those letters and to add them. Okay. So have you identified which number is your highest and identify the color that you are as well? Does anyone wants to share their color that they found themselves to be identified with? You can always speak. Stop share for a minute and you can speak. Anyone wants to share their color in their chat, or if they want to speak out, that is fine. Or maybe you're waiting to see what the color means first. Okay. Well, let's see what the color means first. So if you're orange, this is your personality. You're vibrant, you're spontaneous, you're impulsive, you're a risk taker, you are active, you're optimistic, but at the same time, you resist commitment. So there go a red flag, okay? You can become virtuous and thrive on crisis. So we need your energy, especially in times like these. You're drawn to tools or guidances that needs to take place. You're drawn to action jobs. You need variety, which means you can become easily bored. And then you are dynamic and an animated communicator. You're competitive and you deal with the here and now. You aren't really thinking about the future as much. And you are bold in relationships. That means you know who you are, you know how to express yourself, as well as you're generous. You have a big heart. I just briefly went over some of your descriptions as a orange color personality person. All right. Let's see, green. Wow, green. You are innovative and logical. And you seek to understand the world. You're constantly trying to make sense of the matrix, lack of a better word. You need to be competent. So you tend to have a perfectionist drive about you as well. In fact, you believe work is play. But one of your concerns might be that you are detached. Well, you know how to handle death and dying in that manner when it's like, okay, that detachment needs to occur. But it's also a strength, as well as you have to know when to utilize it, to step fully in that role. You question authority, not in a disrespectful manner, but in a manner that seeks more understanding about what makes what is. So you do question authority, you question processes, right? You are typically slow to make a decision because when you make it, you made it. There's nothing else about it. So you are very sensitive and in tune to investment. You don't waste your time at all. You bring innovation to society as well. Let me go back to orange and say orange brings excitement to society. All right, I remember when I was an orange student, my freshman year in college, I was everywhere. Yes, all the excitement, I was there. But after I did not perform well in one of my courses, I said, let me bring it down a notch. I had to make necessary changes. So when I talk about I can understand and relate with you and where you are, I definitely can. And I share my story with students, from a successful story to being the graduate or receiving the award for the most outstanding graduate student. So I know both sides of success as well as need for improvement, failure, okay? Because when you learn from it, it is indeed success. So we talk about green, bringing innovation to society, all right? And we talk about the gold must be very much so dutiful and stable. They like predictability. They'll be the ones with a planner from here to the next 10 years and can figure out their lives. They need to be useful and they want to be self-sufficient. So as you think about transitioning to your new student and learning environment online in a university level, think about your personality type and how do you adapt? How do you adjust? Okay. The goals desire punctuality. They'll be the one to be clocked in as soon or even before the online platform is signed on, which by the way, you should show up for. We still need your presence, okay? All right. They also enjoy positions of authority. They'll make good leaders, managers, and we need we need everyone, in fact. But when you look at your strengths and the areas of growth, then you can see that balance, okay? They're inclined to join groups because they love their identity to be revealed and they safeguard traditions, right? They bring stability to society. There'll be that neighbor down the street that's been living there for about 25 years. They're like, okay, yes, all right. They value being organized. So if a teacher is not organized, then that might pose a problem for them. If their study partners aren't organized, then that will pose a problem for them. So it's important for GOLD to be intentional about selecting study partners, okay? The qualities that they possess. They are responsible and dedicated. Let me highlight this before I leave. They're responsible and dedicated. And everyone can make necessary adjustments to their personality type. You're not boxed in. Like I said, I was truly orange, but changes had to be made. Then we'll look at blue. I apologize. The blue is foremost up top, but this is the blue. And blue are constantly in search for themselves. They're the touchy-feelies. They're the huggable ones. And they're definitely having a hard time during COVID since they can't be so touchy-feelies and huggies. And they love to share emotions, right? They need to be true to themselves. They have to share their voice and their truth. They value close relationships. So if you betray them, they're like, no, let me back it up. Let me reassess this. But they also need harmony. They need harmony. They love the one love, one heart, let's get together and feel all right kind of energy, all right? They are adaptable. So if you talk about missionaries, and if you talk about ones who want to explore and discover and give and serve, a blue personality type, adaptability is their strength, okay? Because they love people. They survive off people, all right? And they're drawn to nurturing careers. What I have found is that most FMS students are actually blues, because what brought them here is their compassion and their nurturing ways, their desire to give and to care. And that's important, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if surgery doesn't work or if it works. It doesn't matter if medicine works or if it doesn't work. But being there for your patient is critical. Nurturing them, giving them that attention is critical, all right? So they desire quality time with loved ones and they bring unity to society. Now I'm aware that there's some text messages here. Let me see what's going on before we get into the detail. Wow, look at the responses. Yes, definitely. Oh, wow. Green. Yes. And another thing that I tend to do sometimes is to look at their major and their colors to see that analysis between the profession that they have chosen and their color, their personality. Lots of green and gold. All right, dynamic, very. Thank you all for sharing. Blue, Jessica's the first blue. Blue, Ashley, Jada, yes, and Shahara, green, and Alyssa being blue. Thank you all for sharing. Do not forget this, okay? So we're going to get more intentional about what does this mean as you transition. Identify other colleagues, first of all, who shares the same color with you. That's critical. So just go ahead and identify those colleagues, okay? Make note of them because the next activity will require for you to do some connectivity, all right? Let me continue to share my screen, and I appreciate your patience in this experience. Thank you. All right, so here's the activity. Find your color partner and discuss, and in this setting, you can do via texting or chatting, one positive trait of your color. All right, so I'll go back in a minute, and maybe you were writing some things down. Positive trait of your color. Then 2 areas that will need growth. All right. And then 2 coping skills as you adapt to university life. What 2 coping skills would you apply as you adapt to university life? So what's 1 positive trait? What are 2 areas that will need growth? And what are 2 coping skills that you will use to adapt to university life? Okay, have you identified your partner? So you can write at Melissa, at Simone. Let me go back over these for you real quick. And what does that look like? You can say, oh, well, as an orange personality, I love the fact that I am optimistic, but to resent commitment, they will definitely need a planner. They will have to be the ones to be groomed on how to plan and stay committed. All right. So the coping skills would definitely be identifying other persons not similar in the commitment area where they resist commitment, but maybe they need to be connect with another color personality. That helps them to stay focused. And I'm speaking from experience. I remember my undergraduate experience. And like I said, I was just such an orange, just vivacious, still have that energy. But the commitment and the focus component is critical in the success. And one day I went to the library and I looked around and I saw the students in the library, and most of them were Asian students, typically from Japan. And then I went to the housing personnel and I say, can I please request a Japanese roommate? Because they were focused. They applied themselves. They had to interpret, translate the language in itself, such discipline. And I admire that. So for the rest of the college years, I had 3 Japanese roommates. Konnichiwa, indeed. And I learned so much about the culture. And one of our running jokes was that because she studied biochem, if nursing didn't work for me, if biochem didn't work for her, we were going to open a restaurant and name it J&J, okay, Jamaica and Japan. So this is truly an opportunity for you to, again, to learn about yourself personally and professionally, and give yourself a chance to grow and develop from what you're discovering about yourself as you transition to online teaching and learning experience. The green, I'm just re-highlighting. There you go. They value concise communication. So if you're extensive, then now listen to you no more. So what they have to do for lectures that are long or not as interactive, what would they have to do? All right, let's think about it. They seek perfection. If they are successful in a course, their recovery time might be a little bit longer. So they're the ones that have to give hugs and love them like, it's okay, it's all right. Because they do a lot of, self-disappointment conversation, and you just have to give them that energy to do self-appraisal despite the challenges. Positive self-talk. The gold, the bold, all right? And then they value being organized and punctual. Okay. They measure worth by completion. So if they're doing an exam and they don't get to finish it, that exact them. So then how do they process that? Time management, what will they need to do? And then the blues clues. They need harmony. Sometimes there are group dynamics that doesn't work out. Some students, friendship falls out. How do they recover? These are some of the things I help students through. So let me hear from you. What have you come up with? Because that's more important. Let me see, stop sharing. Anybody come up with anything that you want to share? You can also share on your own as individuals, or if you can say, at Jessica, Bina Blue, Alyssa, I feel this way about it. So what are some of your findings? What are your thoughts about Bina Blue, and what would you do differently? Or anyone on this platform that we're sharing? Okay. All right. So I appreciate the feedback, and definitely this kind of presentation students even find like needing to revisit as they grow and they develop and learn more about themselves. Okay, so let's continue. We're finishing up. So what are the benefits of knowing your personality type? It helps with effectively communicate with others, display collaborative team player approach, discover your learning style and study style. It guides your choice of major or specialty. And I've seen where students have started out with one major and chose something else, okay? And it minimizes intra and interpersonal conflict. It also boosts self-esteem and self-worth, all right? It helps you to know how to implement self-improvement strategies. It helps you to know how to cope with stress. This is critical. If you know who you are, you know what will help you to cope with stress. It identifies survival tips to transition from high school student, being a high school student, to a university student. Very important. So what are 11 interventions or adjustment that needs to be made? Make a schedule for class time and homework time. Eliminate distractions. And we will go through these again in greater details in my large group seminars that I will conduct with your classes. Have a dedicated workspace. That is important, a place to go to. One of the things that the pandemic has interrupted is a place where we identified as a place where we go to study and to learn. And trust me, that has had a negative impact on how well we grasp the information, how we engage in the experience of learning. So at home, get a desk, get a chair, say that is my new school, all right? Adjust how you communicate online. Know how to professionally communicate, especially to your professors and your colleagues. You want to be respectful to them. And again, we talk about cyberbullying. It is important. Ask questions in class, be present, show your face. It's important. You are still embarking a journey for a profession that requires for you to show up. We have not replaced you with robots. So put on your clothes. I tell my students, I will even wear heels, even though you can't see it on Zoom. I get dressed for this experience. So in like manner, put on your lab coats, do what you need to do, be professional in presentation, and you will also be evaluated on your professional presentation as you continue to study. Use your resources. We talked about those resources. Be careful of Zoom fatigue. It is real. Limit your multitasking. Don't do too many things at one time. Give your undivided attention to learning. Take breaks in between class. If you can do power naps or cat naps, do a cat nap. But I know some students say, Miss, we just try to do a 5 minutes break, cat nap, and next thing we know, 2 hours pass. Okay? You don't want to be that student. Acknowledge how you are really feeling. It's okay. Check in with me. I've had students where they didn't talk for the first session. They were just numb. It was like a paper communication. It's all right. We'll just sit down and breathe. It's okay. Be patient. Be patient with yourself and be patient with others. You're learning. And please remember to report bullying or any form of cyberbullying. Who you are as students can also speak about your potential, how the propensity of who you can become as professionals. And so the more you can check in and do the work of growing personally and professionally, the more happier you will be, the more effective you will be as healthcare providers and as well as citizens at large. So what do you do when things get hard?
Life can throw you some curves. And it's not just the things that you see coming, but sometimes it's the things that you didn't see coming that hit you out of nowhere, that set you back in such a way that it seems like you can't get over. And you've reached your limit and your bandwidth is full. You already said, I can't take another thing. And then out of nowhere, here comes something you didn't see coming and you're in it.
And in your homes, somewhere in your heart, these words are echoing. Am I going to make it?
When you get into a tight spot and everything goes against you until it seems that you cannot hold on for a minute longer, never give up then, for that is just the place and time that the tide will turn. There are times when your energy feels so depleted that you want to give up, that it looks just totally impossible. And I can tell you from my own personal experience, don't give up then. That's when you've got to fall forward, when life is kicking dirt in your face. Don't give up then. That's when most people turn back.
As long as you're alive, there is hope.
You're still alive. You're still here.
It's never too late, and it's never too dark, and we can always turn things around.
There's going to be bad days, there's going to be dark days, but you got to embrace it because that pain is what makes you stronger.
Pain is the high cost of growth. If you want to grow up, you want to be mature, there is no way to do it without pain. You can't grow up on easy street. And the very thing that discourages you is the very thing that develops you.
No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to save you. The only person that's going to make a drastic change in your life, whether that's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the only person that is going to dig you out of your hole is who? You.
You have to do it for you.
You've got to become courageous to stand up within yourself, to face it and step forward.
We all get a taste of that victim mentality, the why me. You can become the victim of the situation or the victor of the situation. You need to be the master of your emotions, not let them affect you. You are the dictator. You're the captain of your boat, whether you let things affect you in a negative way or a positive way. I don't lose. I only win or learn. In life, there's only winning or learning. All your problems become gifts once you learn from them.
And some of you have allowed adversity to make you stop. And I'm telling you right now, don't give up. I'm telling you right now, don't give in. Get through it. Execute, execute, execute. In the midst of adversity, execute. You're gonna work through this. You're gonna get up, you're gonna get dressed, you're gonna get out, and you're gonna do what you've been called to do. You're gonna be what you called to be, and you're gonna prove that everybody that tried to break you, everybody that tried to kill your dream, you're gonna prove all of them wrong. And if you can work through your pain, I'm guaranteeing you, on the other side is a reward. Pain is not permanent. Pain is temporary.
Wow. From that video, let me just pause. Anyone wants to share a power word from that video? Okay. Just let that reside with you. And in closing, here are 3 success story affirmations. I'm a hero. I am a success story. I am essential. Thank you so very much for your time. And I appreciate your participation. And I look forward to more opportunity where we can engage in a teaching and learning experience as I support you, as I educate you, as I motivate you to embark your essential personal professional development journey. Welcome. Thank you.
Ms. Campbell, I'd like to thank you for your presentation on acculturation. And who better to make this presentation than one who has really lived the acculturation experience in multiple geographic locations. Our university, as a microcosm of a society, replicates the activities of the society. And hence, in addition to the pursuit of academic qualification, she offered some information on avenues through which students can grow and develop in terms of the grief support, the career development, the academic recovery, and the lounge experience available to the students here on the campus, the need for resilience, the need to connect and adapt, and to remember that you are a success story. I really love that song, and I want our students to start or begin their journey with that mantra in mind, that they are a success story. There were, of course, activities to promote self-discovery of their personality type and how these personality types hinder and aid their success, yes? In a nutshell, I think the presentation was about self-awareness and awareness of the environment in which they will operate as students. They should, of course, seek to build on what needs to be strengthened and change what needs to be changed. The presentation was a broad spectrum of ideas and areas for consideration, and I know that our students enjoyed the presentation, and it would be good if the typology could be sent to them. The personality typology activity could be sent to them later, so that they can utilize this as they continue on their journey. Yes, not just for today in terms of their self-development and their self-discovery, but to even use it in terms of situations that they face to see, okay, this may be the situation with me, why I react this kind of way to a challenge. Yes, and so I would like you to send that to them as well. So their personal and professional development becomes most important as they work collaboratively intra and interfaculty, as they adjust to the online environment. And of course, remembering that growth doesn't come without pain. They need to affirm themselves and in terms of their success in their pursuit of academic qualification. I thank you again for that most enlightening presentation. Okay. I do not know if Dr. Garbutt has or Dr. Jones has any other matter to bring to the orientation exercise. Dr. Garbutt or Dr. Jones?
No, Mrs. Rose, thank you very much. However, and thanks to all the presenters who have presented for today. And we urge all our students to head over to Mona Aging and Wellness. I believe AstraZeneca is being done at the old library right across the road, and Mona Aging and Wellness, because of the smaller space, will be doing the J&J. However, just head over and we can always clarify if we end up in the wrong location. But that's a portion of which vaccine is being given where. Okay. So we invite all of them to please come out for your vaccines. And no, the registration village is not going to be open today. We've used Wednesday and Tuesday afternoons for vaccinations. However, if you have any questions, you can always email the programs directly.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Garbutt. So this brings our orientation for today to an end, I believe. Thanks again for your attention, and we look forward to interacting with you as you journey through your academic, your spiritual, your social experience at FMS. And I would like to thank all the speakers who were in the lineup for this morning. You have given us food for thought. And I know that our students, of course, will munch on this, yes, over the many years, whether the 3, the 4, the 5, or 6 years that they will spend with us here at the Faculty of Medical Sciences, and it will help to further their growth and development as they progress. Thanks again for being here, and have a good afternoon.